Shalom. Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chak Wadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men that preceded us in this faith, the men that taught us, and the men that rule well in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, you of the house of faith that will be delivered when the Lord Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Christ, when he returns. So we're going to get into this topic, land backing off of other brothers' lessons and off the earlier camp lesson that the brother Bakar and the brothers and myself had done. All right, at camp earlier today, we went into what's going on with the conflict between the U.S., the U.K., and Yemen, and the Houthi rebels in Yemen. And I was doing some research. I found this pretty informative article, which gives a good take on it. And through the spirit, I'm going to just read it and then grab some precepts pertaining to it. Lord's will is edifying. So this is from Bloomberg.com. All right. And it says, Iran wins with U.S. airstrikes on Houthis in Yemen. The response to attacks in the Red Sea was inevitable, but it's still unlikely to achieve U.S. goal. All right. Reading down, it says, there are at least two views you can take on the U.S. decision joined by Britain to strike Houthi targets in Yemen early Friday. Although they are entirely contradictory, both would be correct. The first is that this was inevitable, both politically and to retain credible deterrence against further hostile actions by Iran and its proxies. Doing nothing was simply not an option for President Joe Biden. And mind you, we're in an election year. So in a year like this, when you become a wartime president, which technically you could say through the Ukraine-Russia war, but this is that was more of a proxy. This is more of a direct attack by the U.S. itself. Okay, so says so mind you that being that it's an election year, wartime president, just like during the time of George Bush, they rally behind Americans. As dumb as they are, they always rally behind a wartime president. All right, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what it is, they just want an enemy to fight. Okay, so it says the second view, and doubtless the reason he had first hesitated, is that there is little likelihood of success and a measurable risk of escalation. Why? Because, first of all, the Houthi rebels are war-hardened people. All right? All right, those Ishmaelites over there in Yemen, they're war-hardened. All right, they've known a lot of conflict over there. So this is nothing new to them. And now they're more emboldened to keep doing what they've been doing, which is to do what? Disrupt those shipping lanes in the Red Sea. All right. Now, I don't think that they have actually gone to the oil tankers yet, but that is very likely to happen soon, if it's not already happening right now as we speak. And when that does happen, you're going to have the world teetering closer and closer to what? A global economic catastrophe, hyperinflation, everything that the Spirit has been on the Lord's prophets to say, which is that the time of Jacob's trouble is drawing nigh. Jacob's trouble being a time of all-out pandemonium, where society itself is going to collapse, and you're going to have, we mentioned earlier at camp today, I believe the brother Debar actually mentioned that failure of law, FOL. So you're going to have that failure of law, okay? Because if people are not able to get their basic goods and services, and they're seeing that there's a migrant crisis, there's this, there's that, there's so many different, a perfect storm of crises that's hitting Babylon the Great America, that now we're at the point where there's no escaping these judgments that's getting ready to pop off. All right, so it says, if the strategic goals of the U.S. are to restore the free flow of trade through the Red Sea, to prevent the war between Hamas and Israel and Gaza from igniting a regional conflagration, and to thwart Iranian efforts to halt Israel's normalization into a new, more stable and prosperous Middle East, then this morning's fire and brimstone is likely to prove counterproductive. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But remember that these people, the elites, the bankers, the Rothschilds, they finance both sides of the major wars. Okay, they get rich off of these conflicts. In fact, excuse me, I still got a slight cough, so bear with me. Stay hydrated, you know. And one of the main things that's been keeping me going in terms of like herbs is that sea moss, man. That sea moss, especially if you can get some sea moss and make it at the crib, make it yourself, man. Ain't nothing like it. Maybe Lord's will one of these days I could do a tutorial on how to make it. But you can easily YouTube it, you know. You can easily YouTube it. But you know, we all have our own way of doing it, but that's been helping me to stay you know, balanced. Because there's a lot of, you know, a lot of sickness and a lot of people getting sick right now, currently, due to stress, due to the chemicals, the chemical warfare. So, you know, we gotta take care of ourselves. All right, for those of you out there listening. But reading on, it says, in fact, one can't help but feel like that the U.S., like Israel after October 7th, is dancing to a tune that was scripted for it by a rogue militia in a failed quasi-state that has little to lose, which they're referring to Gaza and they're referring to Yemen. Okay? Success here is not measured in terms of blowing things up. It would come as a shock if the US and UK pilots and gun crews did not do their job well. They're probably the best trained and equipped in the world, right? Well, this is Babylon the Great after all. Okay? The whore that rideth upon the beast is she's still riding upon that beast. And the UK is the mother. The scripture says that thy mother will be ashamed of thee, you know, roughly paraphrasing. All right, matter of fact, see if we can grab that real quick. Because we know that America was birthed, okay, from the British Empire. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 12. It says, your mother shall be sore confounded. And this is referring to Babylon the Great in Jeremiah 50 and 51. So who is the mother? Who's the one that gave birth to America? Well, America sprang out as the 13 colonies from Great Britain and rebelled and had a revolution to get freedom from the British Empire. Okay, which is what? Edomites on Edomites, Edom on Edom violence, which is a common theme in history. They can never seem to, even when they're in their seat of power, they can never seem to get along. It says, she that bear you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Okay? Who's the hindermost of the nations? America, Babylon the Great. It's going to be a desert. All right. And it says, why? In the 13th verse, because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Why? Because America is that whore that's going to be judged. The wrath of the Lord is going to be imposed upon Babylon. All right. So it will be wholly desolate. Okay, so all the nations are going to see it, and they're gonna be astonished. The scripture is Revelation 18 mentions how the merchants that they are going to be they're going to be basically see if I could grab it. I don't want to misquote it, but they're going to be basically distraught. Revelation 18 and 9. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why? Because the party's over. No more selling cheap goods to America and because these heathen nations, you have billionaires in these other nations. And how did they get rich? Many of them got rich. I'll say the majority of them got rich off of selling goods to America. doing trade with America. Okay, which is what? Fornication with the whore. That's why it says here, standing afar off. Yeah, well, we just read it, fornication and live deliciously with her, right? Standing afar off with the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And that's all it's going to take for the Lord to take this place down. So the merchants, they're going to mourn because they're not going to be able to sell those goods to America anymore. All right, the time's going to be up for that. So back in Jeremiah 50 and 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. And this is what we're seeing with these various conflicts. Excuse me. Shalakia, man, I lost my train of thought. This damn cough is killing me. Oh, the nations. I read it again. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Yeah, it says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Right. So the arrows is dealing with what? The missiles. And we're seeing the geopolitical manifestation of what? All of these nations coming against the whore, Babylon the Great. They're all converging together, and the alliances are being formed, and all the nations that are even allied to America are becoming estranged from her, because America's policy, which is really dictated by who? The rats. Okay, the rats, the gutter rats. All right, the 1948er is the one that runs America and Israel. You know, that's why nobody should be surprised that Israel is running the show of America, because it's the same tribe that runs both of these countries. Basically, it operates as one conglomerate. All right, but America is used as the military arm of it, right? So now what? Now all these nations are rising up, and the weak is being able to say that they are strong. And these other nations are distancing themselves. Even now, it was only the UK. These other nations didn't get involved with the attack on Yemen. They said, man, the hell with that. You niggas deal with that shit. You want to get into endless wars. You want to, and this is the nature of the so-called white man, specifically the elites. And it's all coming back around to Amalek, because the Lord has the most hatred against Amalek. You can't hide yourself. Okay? You can't hide who you are. And the least of the flock is indeed drawing them out. These scriptures are pinpoint accurate, man. And it always blows my mind when we see the prophecies coming to be fulfilled. Even though we always speak on it, it's just how accurate the Lord is with his prophecies in his movie. So reading on back in the article, it says here, but the chances that the Houthis lost all their missile strike capability overnight, much of it mobile and therefore hard to target without significant numbers of allied boots on the ground, are surely zero. So what are they leading into? All right, extrapolation dictates what? That if you look at this and you read into what they're saying, you got to read these articles and then read between the lines of what the agenda and what they're trying to push you towards. Well, in order to really take the Houthi rebels down, they're gonna have to have boots on the ground. And something major is about to pop, man. I can, you brothers out there, sincere, you can feel it. All right. If they start hitting those oil tankers, it's about to be on and popping, man. And that's going to give them a justification. All right, we got to go to a full-on ground war in Yemen. Okay. Now that could be one way it could happen. It could be other ways, but it seems like it's leaning in that direction potentially. We'll see. All right, we'll see. But this is what we've been created for, man. This is our purpose as the hopeful prophets of the Lord, to watch for these things, to pay attention to the prophecies, and to measure the time diligently and break these things down. All right. So if they start hitting them oil tankers, man, it's going to be a wrap. All right. And I think the price of oil is already going up based off of this, because they know that what's going to happen. It's going to be another escalation. This is an escalation on the U.S. side and the U.K. side, which is all tied in with the state of Israel. And now what's going to happen? There's an escalation on the other side, which is Iran, Houthi rebels, Russia allied to them, China allied to them, right? Okay. They've survived years of aerial bombardment from advanced U.S. jets flown by Saudi and United Arab Emirates pilots. If anything has changed, it's that the Red Sea may be on its way to becoming a war zone. Woo! You see that? That is music to our ears, man. All right, that is music to our ears. We need everything that's possibly bad to happen. We need it all to happen. All right. So we rejoice at these things. So if the Red Sea becomes a war zone, which is well on its way to getting there, then that means that you're going to have a global economic crisis leading into what we know will be what? A global economic collapse. This says that has the potential to increase the impact on global markets. No surprise there. Although container shipping rates rose sharply since the Houthis began their harassment, they have yet to target oil tankers. And this is what I was mentioning. All right. Oil markets were little impacted until today when Brent crude rose as much as 3.5% to top $80 a barrel in London for the first time this year. After the strikes on Friday, the U.S. warned all commercial shipping to exercise caution in the area. Okay. Drawing fire from the great Satan. I'm not making this up. It says it right here. Drawing fire from the great Satan, as America is known in Iran's so-called axis of resistance, under the guise of fighting for the Palestinian cause, will have been part of the Houthi game plan. Right. So again, you're playing into what they want you to do. All right. Yemen is doing these things and they want a response, and that way they can get their big brothers involved. Russia, get the big dogs involved. See, look, they're hitting me. They're hitting me. All right, boom. Now we gotta react. Now they gotta react. Now it's gonna keep escalating. One thing lead to another, keep going up. And before you know it, it's gonna be we're trying to we're and you're gonna hear news reports. It was very well this year. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the month if we're hearing about you know, troop escalations, troops, you may have a draft by the end of the year, man. You may have a draft within the next couple months, if not sooner. We got to just watch and wait and see. But it's not a stretch of the imagination to see that there is going to be a draft sooner or later. All right, but from the looks of it, this can happen very quickly. All right, it says the Houthis have now pledged a response, declaring all U.S. and U.K. interests fair game. Woo! And it would be foolish to use their word to doubt them. Like Hamas, the Houthis are very bad at governing and unpopular in peacetime. This fight is expected to raise their status at home and abroad. As though in America, you Babylonians are so goddamn hilarious, man. As though you're great at governing. The government here is a sham. The Congress has been bought out long ago. All right, and you're no one to be telling other nations, "Oh, you can't govern." Well, you can't govern over here, man. They just made a law. They just made it so that you can, the migrants can now get a transformer. The migrants the government in California said they'll pay for the migrants to get transformed if they want to. Here it is. You can't even get these people. You can't get them housing. You can't get them food. You can't get them shit, but you can chop their rod off, man. This is what you nations, you Northern Kingdom, you coming over to America, and a lot of you are really being gathered here for your destruction, man. All right, but reading on, let's see if there's anything else major. Yeah, I'm gonna skip down a bit. It says that situation might well have changed if the Houthis were allowed to continue, but if you doubt that the main aim of Iran and its proxies is to stoke anger at the U.S., listen to Hezbollah's response to the U.S. action. Oh, mind you, there's so much major stuff going on in the Red Sea with these shipping lanes that now it's overshadowed the fact that they're escalating attacks on Lebanon. These things will not go unanswered, man. Okay, it says here the American aggression confirms once again that the U.S. is a full partner in the tragedies and massacres committed by the Zionist enemy in Gaza and the region, the Lebanon-based group said in a statement on Friday. Hamas, Iran, and their allies are looking to inflame distrust and hatred of Israel and the U.S. across the Middle East, which is happening clearly. That's a success on their part. You see, so it's playing into what they want to happen at this point. All right, which is all playing into ultimately we know the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, to the point where any connection with them becomes so toxic that leaders from Saudi Arabia to Egypt are forced to distance themselves, and that's what it's coming to, which is the fulfillment of what? Let's grab it in Revelation 17, and then we're gonna get Joel 3. You brothers out there, if you got anything, you can let them fly in the comments, and I'll read them. Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, because America has these bases and these setups, and it has its hand in all these different nations. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Well, they had a saying about the British Empire that the sun never sets on the British Empire. Why? Because they were set up all over the world. That's Esau's nature, though. So when those 13 colonies broke off, it was they carried on the same tradition of the empire. They just became the new empire. Okay. And if you look, it's spiritual because the UK is separated from the mainland over there, right? It's actually an island. The United Kingdom is separated from the main mass of Europe. And then America itself is a whole nother continent separated from the rest of the continents. So that separation gives them the ability to have more defense, and it's harder to attack America because of that. But now with the new technology, that's all becoming irrelevant. All right, it's just a matter of time until it happens, and we know that it is going to happen because it's biblical prophecy. But it says here, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right, the 10 horns. Okay, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, and that's referring to the EU nations. All right, these shall hate the whore. So now, because of the involvement with Babylon and the state of Israel and what's happening in Gaza, the whole world is looking, it's making America and Israel look in a very bad light. Okay. Okay, because compared to what was done to them and the response given, it's like I hit you with a pea shooter, all right? You get hit with a 22, and then somebody pull out a rocket launcher and blow your whole house up. You know, it's not an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, and they could see that as clearly there was a motivation for this. They wanted this to happen, all right, so that they can have a justification to go into Gaza and basically wipe those people out. All right, it says, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, that's referring to what? These EU nations, they're going to fire missiles upon America. All right. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And you had a lot of scoffers back in the days. They would say, well, there's no evidence of the missiles. The missiles is a hoax. There's no such thing. It's all Project Bluebeam and Hollywood, right? But you explain something to me. How will these 10 horns, which is referring to nations, a part of the EU, right? How will they burn the whore, or how will they make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire? How are they going to actually bring fire to this nation, if not by the missiles? All right. Why? It says, for the Most High have put in their hearts and their minds to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And we're at that time where these words are being fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, which is America. All right, now back in, we're going to go to Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, the heathen nations. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So they're training their elite soldiers. They're getting their armies ready. They're getting their battles ready. All right, because remember, the Houthi rebels, we had just read that it's very difficult to target them. They have mobile missiles, they can move their missiles around. So even if you knock some of their shit off, it's really just a show of force and it's not going to stop them. Okay, that's the point. It's just going to escalate things. And remember, Esau is losing his rulership. So the Lord is working on his mind to make him remember when Pharaoh was getting closer and closer to his demise, he really started to bug out. Even his magicians was like, yo, chill, man, just relax. Egypt is destroyed, like relax. He still kept going. So you're gonna see Esau get real sloppy, real reckless, and he's just gonna go for it, man. And call hello Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is a blessing to be seeing these times, man. It's a blessing to be in the spirit to be able to break these things down, man. You tell you most people I'm talking to, yo, you know that the U.S. just attacked the country out in the so-called Middle East. Oh, I didn't hear about that because your media, man. Yo, these Americans, yeah, man. The world ain't gonna miss you, man. You know, creation ain't gonna miss you. Nobody's gonna miss when you Americans get melted, man. All right, with the thermonuclear destruction, man. Because this is the dumbest nation of all time, man. This is the most idiotic, moronic, stupefied goddamn nation that ever existed, man. These people bask in ignorance, man. They bask in it. It's like it's a competition of who could be the most ignorant. Americans, because that's their cockiness, that's their pride, that I don't have to know what's going on because I'm an American and we just win all the time. I don't need to know. I'm too busy over here winning. Oh yeah, we bombed the nation. Nah, who cares? You dwelling carelessly, but wait till it comes here, man. These people are gonna get that wake up call, man. And I really hope and pray that it's this year, man. And from the looks of it, man, it's accelerating. We only 2 weeks deep, man. We not even two. We about to be 2 weeks deep. And hey, man, and this year is gonna fly by, man. Watch. You know, and hopefully this is the year. But back in Joel 3:10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So now those Houthi rebels, they're saying they're strong. Why? Because they're allied to Iran, and Iran is allied to Russia, and Russia is the big dog. It says, be thou a guard unto them. This is why they're more, a lot of them are more bold. Like, all right, well, we just gonna go for it because we already spoke to our allies and we already know we got the backing if shit goes down, because they're already catching hell from Ukraine. And they're like, man, you know what? Let's just do it. They all know, like, even the elite Russia, Putin's main guys have been mentioning that this is going to lead to Armageddon, that it's going to be a very terrible time. And they're trying to warn the world, like, yo, if we don't stop this, this is going to keep going and it's going to get very bad. And there's going to be a lot of death. You know, the scripture says that it's going to be up to the horse's bridle. All right. If you do the measurements, basically it's multiple football fields full of blood. All right. Multiple stadiums full of blood. All right. Up to the horse's bridle. So, hey, man, you know, call hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. It's about to go down, man. So that's why we got to stay locked in. All right. So I'm going to read this and I'm going to close it out. And it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Tether cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. But I thought the heathen could be saved. So why is the Lord gathering them to throw them in the wine press? Let the heathen be wakened and come up to, you see, you're seeing right now the heathen being wakened. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. But there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And how are they going to be judged? By thermonuclear destruction, chariot beams. Hey, it's going to be the time where heathen rulership is put down. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. And who's going to be the one treading those grapes down? Our Lord Yahweh Shai. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. And yeah, man, that's why, you know, we got to be very selective about who we even be around these last days, man, because it's about to be our time to shine through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All we got to do is be patient and keep on doing this and keep on trudging along, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So, hey, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. The Lord's will was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to our power. Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakwadash. Hey, again, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Hashem Chakadash Brakathum to the house of David, the elect, and Shalom until the next one.